Hi, my name is Callum. I'm part of the team that created the Plug in the Numbers Cyber Skills Live activity. Today, I'm going to run you through how to play it, how it can be used in a classroom setting. Uh, One quick thing to mention before we get started is that you nor your learners need any experience of data science. Just need the willingness to kind of think about the data, think in the context it's used in, and kind of try and apply it to the real world. So let's get started. And put in our name. Mine is Callum, and the school. And this is going to be just used to refer to throughout the activity. So as I said, and your learners can read this, this task is all about finding how much electricity can be generated using solar panels on the school roof. So we're being introduced to our helper here, our data scientist, Sunny, who's data science and renewables engineer. So hello, Sunny. This is a question just to get the learners thinking about the task and get them really engrossed in the context. How did you travel to school today? I took a train. And another question, what do you do for the environment? Given that's what this whole task is about. Eat, yes, throw, food. And today I'm going to be this person. Okay, so let's get investigating. We're going to investigate these three things. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be having a sample energy data set for a school. And we're going to be trying to draw some inferences from it and trying to understand the trends that it's showing us. So let's open the data first of all. This is the data set here. It's for Braveview Academy. We're just going to use this as kind of a case study to look at. So we can see here on the right of the screen, we have the date and the energy usage for this date, and then the unit as well, which is going to be useful with the question. But this data is not particularly visually appealing. And so be better if we could perhaps put it in a graph or something that we could see trends across the year, because it's hard to know from this, we used 700 kilowatts on the 1st of January, how that compares to, say, the end of October. So let's move on. And yet this next question is leading us towards visualizing the data in a graph. So let's plot a graph. We can see this is our energy usage across the year. Now, one of the questions I put in the lesson guide was about asking your learners about if we can see any seasonal change here. And I think we can quite clearly see that in the months of January and February, we have high energy usage. Similarly, also high energy usage in November and December, but we have a lot lower in the summer months. So this may be indicating some of the seasonal variation, and we're asking our learners, why might this be? So because of the outside temperature and all of that. So if we zoom in on 2 months of data, we can also see kind of weekly cycle. So we can see high usage on a Monday, Tuesday through the week, and then much lower on the weekend. And this question here is asking, why is there less usage on the weekend? Now, this might be a bit hard for some learners, so it's good if you can do all of the class and feeds back to you so you can hear different answers from across the room. But the one we're kind of looking for here is that there is no teaching happening. So there might be other reasons, no eating but kind of all leading to the same thing. Now we've zoomed out again to half a year of data, and we can see that there's much lower energy usage in this period than in this period over here. And again, whereas we have much higher in these, what I think are teaching we. So based on the data, the question is asking us, what date do you think the October holiday starts? So we have a look here. This is the 6th of October. Then the 7th is dramatically lower. So I'm going to push in the 7th of October. Brilliant. Now we've changed back to this chart, and this is much easier for reading off the amount of energy used here. So the question is asking, on Monday, the 8th of the 5th, how much electricity was used? So reading off the chart, that's that amount. Brilliant. So this is concluding the kind of visualization and energy usage section. And we can see that we've visualized it, we've used data analysis skills, we've thought about the context that it's in, which is a really key skill. Now we're going to move on to the next section, which is finding the amount of sun to our school, which is my favorite section. So the question is kind of telling us about our energy that comes into our national grid. See an awful lot of gas. And this question is just get learners thinking about the school and the environment around them. So just for me, my school didn't generate any of its own electricity. And now we're thinking about, we know what we'd like to get. We'd like to get the amount of sunlight. So what kind of data is that? And that would be the amount of sunlight that falls on school roof each year. Now, this question is talking about solar panel technology, and it's about reading and do some reading comprehension to understand the information being given. So, photo volt egg solar cell. So once again, we're going to be as reading comprehension question again. I'm going to read the information and what data type is used to describe an exact physical location anywhere on the Earth. This is the latitude, it's the across one, and longitude. Now this question is, we're going to find the school on our map and we're going to drop a pin to select it. This is going to be used for all of the later activities when we're talking about the school's roof area and the amount of sunlight on that school. So it's important we get this right. So, your learners can zoom in on the map. You can also search for place. But for me, I'm going to find a school in Perth, and we'll use that as our one. Let's look it out for Perth Museum. So yeah, we've selected on our map and we've just dropped the pin there. We can drop it multiple places just by clicking. So let's put it there and let's move on to the next section. So yeah, once again, it's just important we get this right because, we could calculate the amount of energy we could generate for something different. But if we want to do a school, it's important we select our school. So this section, we're requesting the data, and to request this, just as a bit of background, we're using an API. Now, an API is a computer code that lets two computer programs talk to each other. In this case, the Plugging the Numbers website is talking to NASA and asking it for data about the solar radiation at this latitude and at this longitude. So we kind of highlight them to select them in the request, and we say, please, NASA, give us the solar radiation data about this latitude and this longitude, which are the New Zealand path that we're going to work. So continue, response. And this gives us this data in this thing which is called JSON, which is a special kind of format of file that computers like to read because it's easy for them, but it's not particularly easy for me or, for non-computers. So if we click to the next section, we are able to plot this chart, and we see the solar energy at our school. You can see that in the summer, we have a lot more solar energy hitting a kind of square meter. This kind of flattens off a bit and decreases quite a lot into winter. And we see this again in January, it's quite low. So our kind of year looks a bit like, a pyramid or something. This question is asking learners to look at the data and draw an inference, which is the highest level of solar radiation. So I think this is May. So we can submit this. Just while we have this graph on the screen, in the lesson guide, I put a sample question, which is maybe for more advanced learners, which is, what would this graph look like for different countries around the world? So for instance, put an example of Australia, which is as their winter is in June and July, they have lower solar radiation in these parts, and then higher in what would be our winter, their summer. So we would see kind of an inverted graph. I also put an example of America, which in Houston, where we see higher temperature, so a higher peak, and we also see it being colder, so less sunlight, i.e. kind of more of the more sharp pyramid. So this is concluding the solar radiation kind of set of questions, and we found out that in a year, this is how much in total solar radiation we receive per kind of average square meter. And as I said below, we have these examples from across the world, but it might be interesting to think about that graph and the way and the differences in how it looks. So let's move on to a final part, which is kind of how we turn this energy coming from the sun into electricity. And let's work out how much of it we can generate. So this question is asking, how efficient do you think rooftop solar panels might be? And it's actually quite surprising the answer to this. I know it, so I kind of did initially think much higher, but no, it's 20%. This is, again, a reading comprehension question, and we're looking for the green solar panel. What's the maximum efficiency? That's 20%. So then we're going to do some sums here and work out for the amount of energy hitting us per square meter, how much of it are we able to turn into energy if it's 20% efficient? So it's given us the working out here. And I'll just do this in my head quickly. I'm going to calculate it to be accurate about this. 9, 5, 6, 3, 191. And so we've worked out that we know the total amount of light coming from the sun to a kind of average square meter at our school's location. Then we've worked out if we were to cover this square meter in a solar panel, how much energy could we generate given the efficiency? And now we've got to work out how many of these average square meters we have on top of our school, so we can calculate how much total energy we can generate. So let's select an area. In this area, we're going to be doing as the top of our school's roof. So once again, we're at the location that we previously selected as our school. We're going to zoom in, and learners can select the area of their school's roof by clicking and joining up points. You can get really precise with this and properly zoom in, capture all of the different areas. But I'm not going to do that just to make it a bit quicker. And so if you join up the area, you get a total value for the area of your school solar array. which is how many solar panels you fit on the school's roof. So now we know that number, and we're going to submit it, of how many meters of solar panel we could have on our roofs. We're going to work out, based on that, how many meters of solar panel and how much every meter of solar panel generates, how much energy over the course of the year we could generate. We get a really large number, which is, for me, 344,658. So yeah, this is the end of this section. And this section and the final section, we've worked out that we could generate 344,000 kilowatt hours of electricity every year, which seems like quite a lot of energy. And we've got all these figures. Now, it might be interesting to ask your learners if they're surprised about, how much this is. And on the next, we get which is that we found out how much a typical school might use in terms of energy. And then we've found out how much our solar panels will generate. So we're actually finding out here that we're able to cover all of the amount of energy we use and actually give some back to the grid, which, as we know from kind of residential applications, the school might be able to make money or sell back to the grid, which would be quite an interesting possibility. We've got some sample questions written in the lesson guide, such as, do you think for learners this would be a good thing to do? Are we using the school roof for anything? Could we reasonably just put some solar panels up there and, start to generate some electricity? And then this task is really only thinking about the roof, but could we put solar panels, in other places? So you kind of unused areas of land to, generate some electricity that way. And, also, as we saw before with comparisons with different schools across the world, maybe there are better places other than Scotland to put some solar panels. Never thinking about Australia, where it gets really sunny for a lot of the year. Or even rambling here. Given that Australia's winters are kind of the reverse of ours, well, we can generate energy in our summer for us. We're not able to generate energy for us in winter, whereas our winter is their summer, so they'd be able to generate energy for us and we were able to share. So, these are all kind of interesting things to talk about with your class. Brilliant. We've got the feedback if you or your learners would like to complete that. So that concludes this run through of the Plug in the Numbers cyber skills lesson. And we hope you and your class both enjoy kind of playing through and also thinking about climate change and using data science and related skills to kind of tackle it. So thank you.